Hello again, everybody. For those who don't know, on my channel I burn stimulus checks and I've also started burning flags. This is going to be the second of 8 flags that I plan to burn. Enjoy! So in this video, we're going to follow up on the first video where we burned the Antifa flag. In this video, we're going to be burning the Confederate flag. Yeah, that looks nice. Alright, so let's talk about this flag. Many people know of this as the Confederate flag, though this is not the official national flag of the Confederate States of America. This is the image that everyone just knows of and likes to wave around. It is a battle flag that was flown by the Confederates, so it seems like a good one to use. Beyond that, what exactly is this flag? I'll tell you what it is. This image right here, this thing here, this flag is actually the most anti-American image in the history of humanity. Yeah, quite amazing. Yeah, see, more American blood was spilt by the people who flew this flag than any other army in human history. This flag is more anti-American than the British flag, or the Mexican flag, or the historic Spanish flag, or the Nazi flag, or the Korean flag, Vietnamese flag, or hell, this is even more anti-American than those Muslim militia flags, also known as Al-Qaeda and ISIS and the Taliban. Yeah, this is more anti-American than that, because these people killed more Americans than any of those organizations, governments, or groups. Yeah, it's quite amazing. However, what's really amazing is that people who call themselves patriots, it's weird, they call themselves patriots and proud Americans, and they fly the American flag, fly the anti-American flag right there with it. I can't figure out, are you a patriot or a rebel? Like, are you for the government or are you against it? Decisions. Gotta push one button. I'm just gonna step off to the side and let you look at this flag one last time while I talk. If you can't tell from the way I talk, I was born in the South, raised in the South. I've lived my whole life in the South. I'm Southern, through and through. And this flag here does not represent me. This flag doesn't represent any cultural heritage of mine. In fact, in a culture of slavery, I'm trying to figure out what exactly you thought you would inherit. You know who flew this flag? It was a bunch of ignorant ass peckerwoods who would have strung me up from a tree and hung me. Because I think that black human beings are entitled to the same human rights that I am. The people who flew this flag would have put me on my knees and shot me in the back of the head simply for flying the American flag. This soil was once controlled by the British Crown. Does that mean you should be flying the British flag to honor them? If you live in Florida, that soil was once controlled by Spain. Does that mean the Spanish flag should be honored in Florida? What about the portions of America that was controlled by Mexico? Or controlled by the French? Should those flags be honored on this soil because once upon a time there was a system of government that controlled this land and they flew those flags? You do understand they lost the war, right? To the victor go the spoils. There's no honor for losers. Hundreds of thousands of people died fighting for this flag against people who flew the American flag. And then hundreds of thousands more fought and died under the American flag against people who flew this flag. You do realize on both sides there, those people died because of people flying the other flag. How are you honoring the fallen soldiers of either side by flying the two flags together? If someone who flew this flag killed somebody, do you really think that person wants to be remembered by having this flag fly beside whatever imagery is supposed to honor them? Let's say your cousin or brother is put on their knees and beheaded by ISIS. Do you think you would honor your cousin or brother if you displayed the ISIS flag in some vicinity around something that's supposed to honor and remember him? Are you fucking retarded? The people who flew this flag were either one of two things, depending on how you view history. The people who flew this flag were either A, people of another country. They were part of the Confederate States of America. And that country had its own flag, its own constitution, its own national borders, its own army, its own currency, on and on and on. And then the soldiers of that foreign army invaded American soil and began killing Americans and burning and destroying American infrastructure. And you think that the people of that foreign army should be honored? The people who flew this flag were either that or option B. These people were Americans. These people were citizens of our country, and they became fucking traitors to our country. They became terrorists. The most dangerous terrorist organization that our country has ever encountered. And those terrorists began butchering American citizens and American soldiers in the hundreds of thousands, and began attacking and burning down American infrastructure, federal infrastructure, and then went on to assassinate our sitting president, President Abraham Lincoln. Not even ISIS or Al-Qaeda achieved that. But you fly this flag, you say it's somehow pro-America. The people of today, these neo-Confederates, who support this flag and also support the Confederate statues all around the country, which Of course, I don't support the statues. They argue that it's so that we don't forget the past. Oh, we just don't want to forget the past. That's all. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it, right? That's why we display the flag of the past enemy, and we display statues to remember the enemies who killed Americans. Yeah, that makes sense. Because we don't want that to happen again. You know, I'll tell you what, here's an idea. It's the year 2021. You know, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of the attacks of 9/11, which kicked off this 20-year war that we've been in. No, we don't call it a war. It's been a 20-year conflict in the Middle East with Al-Qaeda and other jihadist groups, militias defending their land. I certainly wouldn't want something like 9/11 to ever happen again. And so the only way to really do that is to ensure that we never forget what happened. And clearly, what we've been doing with the Confederate flag and Confederate monuments, that's really working to ensure that we never repeat that history again. So perhaps, and I'm not suggesting it, but perhaps something to consider. Maybe what we should do, as we're coming up on this 20-year anniversary of 9/11, maybe we should set up some type of monument at Ground Zero. Perhaps, let's say, I don't know, a 15-foot granite pedestal, if you will. And on top of that, we have a nice sculpture. Let's say a bronze statue, maybe 8 feet tall, of an Al-Qaeda fighter. And maybe he's got, like, you know, explosive vest on, a suicide vest, maybe some type of head wrap, you know, covering up his face. That way we can depict him looking kind of menacing, you know. Don't want to, you know, insult him, whoever that nameless, faceless fighter might be. You know, depict him in a respectful way. Perhaps, you know, give him an AK-47, maybe just kind of slung over the shoulder. And then down there on the bottom of the pedestal of the monument, maybe a nice plaque, you know, and it could display the Al-Qaeda flag, and then maybe written in English and Arabic. Perhaps it could say something like, I mean, we're not trying to, you know, we're not trying to honor him, you know, we're not trying to say what he did was good, but we just want to make sure we remember, we don't want to forget. So perhaps it could say something like, in memory of jihadists, 2001-2021. Yeah, I think that would really help us to not forget. And to all you neo-Confederates, all you people who worship this flag and worship your Confederate statues, which are all Democrats, yet you vote Republican, and you say Abraham Lincoln was this evil tyrant who was all about, you know, he was the aggressive one, he was the one who wanted to be like Julius Caesar and all this, right? Yet you vote for his party. So all you people who like this flag and the statue, ask yourself this. Ask yourself, if the United States of America lost the Civil War and the Confederates had won, and we was living in the Confederate States of America today, do you think that people would like people waving the old United States of American flag? Do you think that if the Confederates defeated America, do you think the Confederates of today would allow and appreciate statues and busks made of Abraham Lincoln, the one who was the northern aggressor? Do you think the Confederates of today would want big giant statues of American General Grant coming in on horseback? I don't think so. No. I don't think they would like that at all. I think they would find it stupid, disrespectful. But hey, this is America. And in America, you have a right to offend and be disrespectful. The First Amendment right entitles you the distinct privilege to insult people and to offend people. It's just in America we don't have a right that says you're not allowed to be offended.